Sunset goes in the opposite direction. I was mostly just enjoying the garden out here. Little more than that. I've noticed the German bearded irises are getting ready here. Just as the last daffodils are finishing, so that's very nice timing. I have yet to plant anything through here. Traditionally, this coming weekend is the correct date for planting in tomatoes and stuff like that, if I'm not even going to do it. So, and if I do plant them in Pittsburgh at this time of year, which would be the, third weekend of May? Usually Mother's Day. What I end up doing is putting those plastic bottles over top so that any cold snaps or anything like that are going to be pretty well covered for. It's still a little bit of food and a lot of flowers out here. Pea shoots are coming up. There's peas planted all over this garden. I got a really big pack. I planted about half of it. Oh, this is a weed. Even though it's got flowers, they're not flowers I want to have go to seed, or that I want at all. They're nothing special. These, however, these are those big, fluffy, orange poppies that I get every year. They're a little bit spreading. They tend to get all over the place, but I like them so well, I don't care. The ajuga underneath is bright purple here. That's a deep shade plant, and it's liking being up underneath this currant. I have been able to harvest a bit of the lovage, which is like a very strong celery, and quite a bit of the asparagus. I have intentionally left at least half of the asparagus fronds to grow. And now that these are getting tall, the shorter things I can pretty much 100% just harvest. I did take the first two of these, so we'll see. What I found is that if I'm too aggressive with harvesting on my asparagus, it's more prone to asparagus beetles and other disease later in the year. That's a cherry tree that's done nothing, but it's not dead. It's been trying to die, so it just being not dead is an accomplishment. The kiwi here still hasn't opened its flowers. This is a hardy kiwi. The fruits get about grape size, and there's quite a few florets. So once they do open their flowers, I'm immediately going to start trimming back the excess green growth, because that is what I found allowed this plant to fully ripen its fruit, finally, for the first time in 10 years. The Saskatoon, I dug quite a bit here because there were quite a few little, there was one seed Saskatoon, and there were maybe another 8 little roots I dug up. I don't know if they'll do all right because it was a bit tough. Oh, this plant just decided to bolt in this weather. There's a lot of these. These little, they're not daisies. They're just weeds. But, one of my weeding methods that helps keep something this big under control by myself is that I go through and prioritize one type of plant at a time, and that lets me just kind of do a clean sweep, get a keen eye for something in particular right before it's going to start going to seed. Get the right tool for it, if applicable, and just go for it. Now, these are called June berries. They're still pretty green for the most part, a little bit of shading. But it's May 7th right now, so they're on schedule. More daffodils. In the places where the neighbor's baby hasn't picked them, they're still very much in bloom. But they're starting to finish. I'm glad the neighbor's baby's enjoying them. So these are that kind, and so in the places that warmed up a little sooner, they're starting to finish up. I can hear quite a lot of birds right now. It's that time of the evening. I can also hear someone's weed whacker. The rhubarb is doing great. That's been pretty easy to take care of too. I don't know what happened here. Let's fix it. So this is the one that went to flower. And I'm not going to harvest this leaf because we've got no other leaves right now, and it needs to be able to photosynthesize or else it might suffer. A couple more back there, here and there. The apple had a little bit of flowers on it. The pear had none. Way up here. And it does appear that we ended up with a handful of pollinated ones in here. I hope that would be good. It's not seeming particularly hopeful on the hazelnut front over here either, which is very upsetting, honestly, but what can you do? I'm gonna have to thin out these onions. They do nice flowers, so I don't mind them too bad, but they're getting very aggressive, like all alliums do around my yard. But I do enjoy these puffballs so far. They're brand new, so we'll see how overly enthusiastic they end up getting, but I'm enjoying the purple puffballs everywhere. Pretty soon through here we're going to start to have lilies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 different types. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just right through here, and those are going to be big lilies, so I'm excited. The milkweed is doing great. I'm going to start to bring back some of the ones that are in pots. I did discover that in the little pots that I put the other ones in that I was planning to transplant, I ended up not only with the one in the pot, but more growing up alongside the pot. So these are not pot containable if set into the ground. Very aggressive, which is nice. We like aggressive natives. This is a native grape back here, and oh look, we're gonna actually hopefully have some grapes. Come on, it won't focus. Oh, there we go. Yeah, hopefully we'll end up having some grapes. That's cool. And then this is my tiny bit of cleared space that is still a big project despite a full year under the tarps, versus my piles and piles of overgrown space. For once, this grapevine that I'm training up into the tree has stayed. This tree does have cracks. I'm hoping that training this grapevine up into it will reduce branch drop, but I might be late on that. And the other thing I'm hoping is that I can get good established growth below. So this is a native mulberry, and over here behind this great big burdock is a pawpaw. The pawpaws haven't put out any leaves yet. It's strange. They're not dead, but they just aren't doing leaves. And I've got another pawpaw I want to plant about here. The idea is that if this goes, I want to have a big substantial root mass protecting the hill So if it takes like root ball and all, instead of cracking the branches and dropping those and breaking things, because this is a huge tree, depending on how it goes, I do want to be ready for various potential scenarios. But I also started this tarp project, so I may have also shot myself in the foot, depending on what happens next. I'm being very cautious about not reducing the root mass with any speed over that hill. It's concerning. And then up here, I really am enjoying this. This is a nice, nothing here is edible in this row. I take it back. The milkweed is, and the echinacea is medicinal. And these purple flowers that are everywhere, the little common violets, are edible. And these are in the allium family, so they're onions, but they're prettier than they are food. But for the most part, this strip's just decorative. And I'm enjoying it, so I guess it's got value. Then up in here, bunch of sage. Hops children in pots doing pretty dang well. Seed lot that I'm hoping will start to sprout really soon with hopefully a ton of stuff. These are both here and here. These are clematis, and I can see they're getting ready to bloom. They're going to be intense. Got a lot of weed trees in here still. I complain about that every year. I still haven't figured out how to change that fact. But there is also quite a lot of elderberry and a decent amount of hops growth coming up through the elderberry. So it's an okay balance. This is a red raspberry, and that's a black currant like the tangled bush in the back that I'm going to remove because it's getting overgrown, but having it contained wouldn't be bad. I may eventually move this there once this is under control, which obviously isn't anytime soon. Wow. So this is the current project. I love black plastic or dark tarp. Can't use a light blue tarp or anything like light colored because enough sun gets through that it just acts as a greenhouse. But the dark tarps work wonders. I love working with this type of ground clearing, and I just reuse it as best as I can. That is an old pool cover, so it's very large. My uncle gave it to me. I don't know who he got it from. People bring him junk. He's a scrapper. And he gave it to me. Some of these I paid for. The heavy-duty dark brown tarps that you can get at like Lowe's Home Improvement, Home Depot, any of those kind of shops are perfect for this. And it takes an overgrown, weedy mess and just gives you a blank slate. So that's nice. To prevent further weed growth while I'm trying to get more water to get to the tree, again, I covered over with boxes. And I am planning on getting some wood chips out here, in which case it'll be boxes and then wood chips over top to let those break down for a while. I have not, except twice, been down to check on my terracing this year yet at all, which is lame, but it's down there. There are 2 terraces about 20 feet down because those were more easily accessible for change than the nearer ones, which were covered in heavier growth. So we're working on things here. We'll see how it goes. The river's beautiful. More of the sky is starting to turn. Let's see. You really can't see the city anymore. A little bit of the skyline shows through when the trees aren't greened. And then there's the sunsets all in that direction. Yep. So yeah, it's May 7th, 2019, and I'm enjoying it out here. Can't handle how nice it is. Bye!